Rockwell, radio.
Brothers and sisters,
Radio. Rockwell, radio.
brothers and sisters,
Radio. Radio. Suck. Rockwell, radio.
brothers and sisters,
Radio.
Yo, this is Problem 13 of Wolverine.
Radio.
I'm listening to
Radio.
DJ Rockwell. Holla!
Peace, salute. This is DJ Rockwell, the nation's #1 DJ. Welcome to episode 15. 15. This is the one y'all been waiting on. This is the one y'all been talking about. This is the one you've been seeing us post them big juicy lips. This is the episode that we talk about it. This is the episode that we deal with it. This is the episode that we look right in the mirror and deal with ourselves. This is the episode where we're not pointing the fingers, where we're not blaming, where we're not making fun, where we're castigating. This is the episode where we talk about me. This is the episode where we talk about you. This is the episode where we look at ourselves and try to extricate that which is the best and suppress that which is the worst. Today, Big Dave,
You got what we got.
today we're going to talk about porn addiction.
Skirt.
Right. Stop the beat. Did you just say porn? Yeah.
We don't talk about that in public right there. You know, we don't.
So this is the episode where we deal with it. We want everybody in the building before we go another step further, before we go another inch into the show. Make sure you hit the share and like button, hit the like and share button. If you're watching via Facebook, welcome. If you're watching via YouTube, welcome. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that like and share button and subscribe. Subscribe to the Rockwell Radio Show. We're live on the air every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Find your time zone, tap in. This is a heavy subject, Dave.
Yeah, it is. Got to go there.
I want to first shout out before I begin my brother Dawud Muhammad from the Jock Brothers. He was instrumental in making this episode happen. I was looking at what's going on in our world, D. I was looking at how everything is sexualized, how everything is so sex driven. And people were asking, as I started banding this idea around, D, is, well, if you want to talk about porn, what does porn and hip hop, your show is about hip hop. Right. What does porn and hip hop got to do with one another? And I said, what the two have to do with one another, D?
Mm-hmm.
Hip hop is more over sexualized now than ever. When you got Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion making songs like WAP, and you got this kind of imagery out there that's shoving sex down our psyche every second of the day, what you get in, you get out.
That's right.
So people need a way to push that output somewhere. And what do? Now with Generation Z or whatever this generation is called,
Who knows?
they have the internet at access. And they're finding ways to look at that. They're finding ways. As a matter of fact, it finds them. And today in this show, we've got a guest that's going to help us separate the fake from the real.
And speaking of that,
Yo,
you just said it finds them. It finds the user. Now I can hardly allow my daughter to download a game app on her iPad because with the advertisements in between, they'll do a short commercial.
Right.
And in that little short commercial for another game, a game is so sexualized. And you know, she's 6 years old. and you have to indicate your age, and they still put those advertisement for sexually charged games for children. We're in danger.
We are past the mark. We are in red alert status. That is why we've decided to make episode 15 the last episode of the year about pornography and how you can break the chain of pornography. So let's clear the air first. Again, we're not here to judge anybody who is a user of that particular content. Every single one of us at some point or another have been exposed. So, matter of fact, I want to shout out to everybody in the chat room right now. If you're in the chat room, make some noise. If y'all out there, hit the share button, hit the like button, because this show is what we need to talk about. So before we get started, before we bring our guest on, I have a little video I want to show you. No, not that kind of video. No, we're not. Before I bring my guest on, I want to set the tone of why we're here and the importance of why we're here. Stand by and watch this.
The subject is dirty little secret. And, you know, for years, my dirty little secret was that I was addicted to pornography for years.
And McDowell says this all feeds into porn addiction.
And that's what we have during the COVID-19. That's why we're going to have a huge explosion of porn when we come out of this crisis.
Yeah, so I first saw it when I was 9, totally by accident. And then as I grew up, kind of went through my teenage years and went on to be a student at university, it got more and more. And as I kind of was more fearful of relationships, I turned to porn. And it got to the point really where I was watching it probably 2 or 3 times a day.
Even before the lockdowns, research showed high rates of Christian men and women seeking out porn online across age groups, with an astounding 81% of those ages 13 to 24. Even 57% of pastors and 64% of youth pastors admit struggling with porn.
So today's video is probably going to be the realest of them all. I am going to be talking about how I overcame my pornography addiction.
So it became really a daily, more than once daily habit.
Do you think that was what stopped you having a normal sex life with somebody else?
Yeah, I do. From what I'd learned about sex and relationships from the age of 9 from pornography. And
Shout out to everybody who recognized that Luke Skywalker beat in the background. We couldn't do it without Luke Skywalker. And speaking of Luke Skywalker, I'm going to use that as a segue to introduce my guest, since Luke is from Florida and my guests are joining us out of Florida. With no further ado, please welcome to the Rockwell Radio Show, for the first time, a dear sister who is a counselor, a life coach, a servant, a public speaker, an entrepreneur, and one who has dedicated her life to service and repairing the Black family. Please welcome my sister, Nayyirah Muhammad, and her husband, Brother Dawud Muhammad.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you, brother.
Wonderfully happy to be here and serve tonight on the Rockwell Radio Show.
Sister, welcome. I could not be more honored to have you both tonight. We got a heck of a subject in front of us, and it is one that I hope that we can handle with dignity, with grace, poise, and most of all, respect, because it's a subject that people feel a kind of way about. People who have experienced pornography, some who say it's casual, and some may not know what addiction, or may that they have an addiction. So what we're going to do is start here. I want to ask first this question of you. I'll start here, dear sister. Please tell us a little about your history in counseling. Let's start what gives our sister why she's here. Tell us about your history in counseling others, and why do people even trust you enough to tell you that they have these kind of addictions or problems in the first place? Just open up and tell us about your background.
Yes, sir. Well, first and foremost, I am very grateful for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, where I gave my life to Christ. In the Nation of Islam, I've served I served 20 years in the women's ministry role, which is the military form as a student MGT captain. And as I served in that role, of course, I'm responsible for women's lives. So that's where I can say my first sojourn as far as counseling ministry, being responsible and accountable for leading, guiding, and inspiring women to turn their life to Christ. As a result of being in the Nation of Islam, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan led the Nation of Islam to a technology called Dianetics. And I, in my obedience, went through the Church of Scientology and became a Dianetics auditor, which is the modern science to mental health. It is a spiritual technology, and I am very highly trained in that technology, very proficient, and really I've been able to create miracles with that, where people trust me because of my training, because of the amount of people that my husband and I have been able to help, understanding the mind, and really just being effective and not just counseling people, but really helping one to get rid of the things that plague their minds, their mental capacity.
Actually, what you just said leads me right into one of the questions that I had planned to ask you. There's been a lot of concern, questions, lack of clarity around our relationship with Scientology and Dianetics. Can you please, for the sake of those who may be watching tonight, who have heard about the nation's connection to Scientology, can you please demystify this connection and explain the use of the tool Dianetics and why it's a useful tool to do what you do?
Well, absolutely. First and foremost, let's just make this plain and simple. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is a trusted friend, not just to the Black man and woman here in America, but to humanity. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has never led us astray. So because of him going into the Church of Scientology, and as he said, I found something here, meaning the Church of Scientology, that belongs to us, right? And he did. He found a mental and spiritual technology. It's a technology. It is a tool that will get to the root cause of man and woman aberrations, deviations from rational thought. So by us, the Nation of Islam, going into the Church of Scientology and getting this technology that belonged to us, we are now capable and able to go at war with the psychiatry industry that is actually taking our minds and, doing what I want to say, helping us to get on psychiatry medication. This technology is a preventive measure, so that now you and I can really get down to the ills of our mental health issues. So it's a wonderful relationship. The technology is the modern science to mental health.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. On your website, dear sister, repairoftheblackfamily.com, you are self-described as a life coach. Please explain, and what we're doing is laying the foundation for our conversation, so people know why you're sitting here, why that you were a highly recommended host or guest for this show. Please explain to our listeners and our watchers today, what is a life coach?
Well, a life coach is one that is going to help his or her clients to be able to find their ruin in life, the things that maybe they have gone through and they don't have a way out. So the life coach is going to help the individual to go within, see what's the problem, and then help the individual solve their own problems by guiding them, giving them survival routes is what I call it. You know, helping that person to look and find solutions to their problems. So we are a solution-orientated type of field where we don't tell people what's wrong with them. We help them to find their own problems, if that makes sense. And I just want to go back to that last question. When it comes to the Nation of Islam and the Church of Scientology, this came to my mind, which is really important. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan did not lead us to another religion.
Come on, say that part. That's right.
Okay, so I think that's really important for us to understand that. He didn't give us a religion. He gave us technology.
Right.
And when you look at technology and you're talking about modern day, it was technology that enslaved us. When we look at Willie Lynch and the methodology, which was technology, which helped to break down the spirit, the mind, and the body of the Black man and woman. So here is a further advanced technology that will help us to restore that. So this is a relationship, it's an ally. Okay, so we can be able to work and bring about a universal government in which we all can live. So we're not there to get religion. We're there just as if we went to Harvard, just as if we went to Yale or any other institution to go and get something to bring it back to our communities, to make our communities a decent and better place to live. That's so right. I definitely wanted to make sure that that's clear. We're not in there to become Muslim Scientologists. We are Muslims.
That's right.
Followers of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, building relationships and getting spiritual technology that will help with aiding the Black man and woman to restore our mental health.
Last question about your background. Share with the viewers the positions you've served while or post you've held in the nation.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I've held I was a student MGT captain. I am now a student MGT captain emeritus in St. Petersburg, Florida, 7th region here. And I've also served as a regional auditors coordinator, 7th regional auditors coordinator for the Nation of Islam.
All right. Now, Dave, I think we've now went through this sister's resume and qualified her for this conversation.
Yeah, we got a good foundation. We got a good foundation going.
Let me say this. It's really important to know this as far as it relates to the technology and dealing with the mind, okay? The Bible tells us, scripture tells us that a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways, right? That's in the book of James. So that means that's identifying that we have two minds, okay? Right. By me going through this technology and reaching or attaining the state of clear, okay, I no longer have that double-mindedness, which is now known as the reactive mind.
Right.
I have one mind, which is my analytical mind, which is my God mind, and I can now respond versus react. So this is why people come to me, because they know that I possess sanity versus insanity. I think from a rational standpoint versus irrational. That's my ability. That's where I exist. So when you ask, why do people come to you? Why do they trust you? Because they know that they're dealing with a sane person. They know that they're dealing with a person who can look at things from a point of reason and not based upon my emotional attachments or my feelings. Does that make sense? So I just wanted to make sure I say that I'm clear. I thank Allah for that. And all that means is I function from my analytical mind.
Let's deal with that. Again, you were like throwing me the softballs so I can go right to my next question.
That's right. We're so used to going to our homeboy, our friend, our girlfriend, or whatever to talk and just get stress off our chest, but not have an issue addressed and tackled. And too often when we have these very important conversations and issues, it's dealt with like a reality TV show or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's so important. And this didn't occur to me till right now. And I'm going off script a little bit, Dave, by saying this. I think we really are in a blessed position to have this conversation with a woman.
I agree.
Here's why I say that. Because pornography, if it does nothing else, it objectifies women.
100%.
And here, our guest is a model of Elijah's class at MGT. And she and the sisterhood represent the exact model that we want our sisterhood to follow. So having said that, let's dive in and get right into this business.
Absolutely.
You talked about the mind. You talked about being in your right mind and being devoid of being reactionary. Question one is somewhat on that line. What do you think is the connection between a person's self-esteem and porn use?
Absolutely. Well, let's look at this. We are a broken people. We didn't just become broken in 2020. This is at a cellular level, especially when you're talking about us in the wilderness of North America for over 400 years. We do not have the knowledge of ourselves. We do not have the knowledge of God. We don't have our culture. We don't speak our own language. We have been made other than our own selves, and that has been perpetuated for over 400 years. So now in modern times, we have broken relationship with our mothers. We have broken relationships with our fathers. We have broken relationships with our brothers and sisters. We have broken relationships in our husbands. You get the point, right? Which means automatically our self-esteem is down. Our self-confidence is down. So now when you look at pornography, which actually feeds the mind and make you feel good. It helps to release this dopamine, which is the chemical that makes you feel good. So now the mind is being fed pictures, which the mind is made up of pictures.
Come on.
Right? That is actually feeding an appetite to feel good because we have been deprived, starved of attention. We're starving for that. We didn't get it at home the way we desired it to be. When you talk about our culture, right? If we're in relationships, because we don't have proper relationships, I'm not saying relationships only, proper relationships. Now we are starving for some type of attention. And most times it's communication. So you see us feeding off of, when you say, how does it relate to self-esteem and pornography, you're dealing with the lack of communication with self and others. So now I can go into this picture mode and fulfill this void of communication, which tampers with the self-esteem. I can go more, but you're dealing with chemical. It's the feel-good senses, the desire senses that's being fed.
Wow. This is DJ Rockwell, and you are tuned in to the Rockwell Radio Show. And with us is our sister Nayyirah Muhammad, and her husband, brother Dawud Muhammad. And we are talking about breaking the chain of porn addiction. Here's question number 2. And I want to hear from you both on this question. Some men say that porn use only offers them a sense of variety that they don't seem to get at home. If men have a need to experience new things with their wives, but want to remain faithful, how should they approach that conversation with their wives?
Well, you want to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm coming out.
Okay, great. Well, let's just look at why one may feel that it offers a sense of variety. Again, that comes back to stimulation, being stimulated. Yeah, stimulated. Thank you. Stimulated from an energy center. Okay, look at this. It's a manipulation of energy. It's energy. It makes you feel good. It's who you are. We have energy centers in us. And I just want to just touch here, and then I'm going to move off of this. Okay. In the body, we have 7 different energy centers, and one of them is called the sacral center, right? Which is inclusive of sexual, creativity, desires, emotions, all of these things. So when one is engaged in this porn or looking at these pictures, you're tapping into creativity. You're tapping into the sexuality, creativity. So it's not that that's not natural. It's just being made unnatural. So now, because we're made other than ourselves and we're being re-stimulated from the beast mode appetite, now we want to bring that into the bedroom. That's not new. That's not foreign. This is historical.
How about it?
Watching this in modern time. We're looking at the residual effects of being made into a slave.
Right.
So now we're dramatizing this, and we're approaching one another with this because the slave master did it on us.
Come on.
And so now we feel, listen to what I'm saying. We feel that that's normal because from a cellular level, we're tapping into that energy. So how do one approach their wife? I can't say for my husband, I'm just going to say for me, and being a woman, just a natural woman and a woman of God.
Come on.
Talking, and see, now we got to get into higher thinking now, which brings about higher feelings, higher emotions, right?
I want to underscore that. Higher thinking brings along higher feeling.
Absolutely, because now you're talking about vibrations. Thought is energy. You can measure it. So now we got to raise our vibes, which means we got to think from a higher plane. Sex is not bad, right? But it's for procreation.
Right.
In that process, you want to make it sacred. That we're co-creating together from the mind of God.
Beautiful.
So if a man wants to approach his wife, what mindset is he coming from? What type is he coming from?
Right.
Remember, the devil taught us to eat the wrong food. There is 2 gods inside of us.
Wow.
And whatever God you feed is the God that's going to grow. So now as the woman, I got to make sure my husband is eating the proper food, which is the proper thought.
Exactly.
Woo. So, the only way the man can be elevated in this process is the woman got to be elevated. And we will help him curb those bestiality appetites that's in him and in us. But it comes from a space of divinity.
Come on, sis. Brother, how? She may have said it all. But
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Keep on that one. So.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. So, exactly what my wife said, just looking at it from a different angle as well. We have to understand too that the scripture says our people suffer for the lack of knowledge.
Yes, sir.
So, I have to take a look at that word suffer, right? So this person is thinking from this mindset, right? That's there, right? This mindset appears to be very real to him, this appetite that he's feeding from. So he may be wondering how to approach his wife with something as such as that. However, like my wife said, look at where it's coming from. See, the ignorance comes in where we don't realize that this is a sickness that has been fed to us. And when we don't realize something like that, then we don't know how else to feed that appetite. So we feed it from that lower level or from that lower state. You see, it will be difficult for a man to go into a higher realm or to go into a realm with his wife, this female, if he doesn't understand how to relate to the entity, the female entity.
Come on.
The nature of us.
Right. Right.
We got to deal with our nature. See, remember, we're operating from an unnatural state in our present condition as a collective consciousness of people. We have been made unnatural. So these pictures, this porn is feeding that other God in us.
Right.
Right.
Feed us, right? We got to go back to these. It's an urge. It's a food. You know, I know that our teacher, in the teachers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it was said at one point in time that the devil will be right in our own household.
Wow. Right.
We
Right.
didn't understand what that was going to look like. At one point, those who came before us didn't know how we was going to let the devil in our house. Right now, on the internet, through these magazines, through the books, all of these things that feed that unnatural desire. Sex is natural. Sex is natural.
Right.
But the way that they are presenting sex to us is unnatural because it's coming from a bestiality viewpoint.
Come on now. You are tuned in to the Rockwell Radio Show, and we are cracking Adams right now with Sister Nayyirah and Brother Dawud. If you're watching on Facebook, hit that share and like. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe while you're with us. This is the Rockwell Radio Show. Let's go to some data. I want to share some facts that I found regarding our subject. Look at this. Family, about 200,000 Americans are classified as porn addicts. 40 million American people regularly visit porn sites. 35% of all internet downloads are related to pornography.
That's almost half.
Look at this. 34% of internet users have experienced the pop-ups. You know, were you playing like the whack-a-mole with the pop-ups? And here's the kicker. 1/3 of porn viewers are women. What is it, Sister Nayyirah, do you think women get from viewing or having this experience?
I think it's diverse. You're just going to get that feel good. You're going to think about it. If most household is single women, the man is absent. That which she's not getting from a man, if she has given her mind to the porn, that's her substitute. She's getting out of porn what she cannot get in the bedroom with her man, and a man that may be there but not there for her. So it goes back to how we feel, what is making us feel like.
Wow. Sister Nayyirah, you said feel, and earlier you hit the point of that dopamine hormone being released. And as I was going through research for this episode on addiction, that's something very important. Addiction and the things that we do that we whatever we use to find and get that hormone, that dopamine released, and don't realize that there's an addiction going on. That's a real problem. I guess any addict would say, well, I'm not addicted. I just do this for whatever reason. And people on the outside will look at them and say, you have an issue. And it's so odd to me that something like this, something that is not, quote unquote, not a drug being put into the bloodstream, or, it is, but something that we see images, videos, getting that same feel good hormone released. That's amazing to me. I just wanted to add my comment there.
Well, and absolutely. So it just goes back to, like, let's look at this, like, real talk. Most people, when they get on drugs, alcohol, whatever, they have gone through some form of trauma, some loss, some form of rape, something has where they can't face life. They can't face it. So they turn to alcohol, they turn to drugs. Same with porn. Something has happened within me. Something has happened in my life where porn could have just started out as something simple, but it became a fulfillment. It came to be a mechanism on how I deal and cope with my pain.
Wow.
You understand? It can be trauma based, right? Where, okay, I've been molested, I've been touched, it's incest in my family. Does that make sense? So instead of me going to a man, I'm going to get it from the TV, I'm going to get it from a magazine, and there we go. It has become a substitute, and now we become desensitized.
Wow, you don't know this, but you're answering questions that I haven't even asked yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what we want.
That's in tune. You literally provided the answer to the next question I was going to ask. So the next question was going to be, what is the connection between sexual abuse and pornography use? You just answered that question.
Absolutely, and I mean, I could go deeper with that, but all I'm saying is we got to look at the root of the why we do things. We're looking at the what, which is good, but why? What has happened in the household where we take something that is so beautiful as having sacred relations in our bedroom, that we're making it now into I guess I want to say it's something,
an unlawful addiction.
Oh, unlawful addiction.
Right.
Thank you, babe. See, that's why I got a husband.
Right. See?
He's filling the gap, right?
Come on.
You take something that God has given us that it becomes unlawful. And some people may be like, okay, let's be real here. We talking spirituality. Actually, we are talking spirituality. There's nothing you can do on this planet that God is not in the midst of. He's in your bedroom if you bring him. You understand?
Look at that.
And then on top of that, if you don't bring him, there's another God that's there.
There you go.
So either way, God is present. It's just which God you choose to invoke in that bedroom.
Let's you threw me another pass. Some married couples, brother and sister, attempt to use pornography to inspire their sex life. What are the dangers of that?
Well, you want me to go?
Go ahead.
And I want to hear from both of you on that.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm go ahead.
Okay, so the dangers of that is that now we're talking about dramatizations, but I'm gonna use a word that most people can understand. We start fantasizing. You fantasizing about something else that's not reality.
It's not real.
It's not real. That now I'm not fully, or I couldn't be fully present with the man that's here with me. I got to make up scenarios of what I've watched on something else to get him to perform. Now he got a status or a standard that he has to meet. Right? I mean, just think about it. It's like when you smoke your first weed, you get high for that, but you want to keep going and getting higher because you're trying to get that first high. Same in the bedroom. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. It becomes an appetite. And now the other person has to outdo what's on TV.
That ain't real in the first place.
Right.
Because now you're in compare mode.
That's like saying I want to shoot up more people than Arnold Schwarzenegger. Dude, it's movie.
Right. Too, brother, and just to give a little bit from a question that you asked earlier about men and variety, right? It's really the same sickness, right? Because the variety is only there because, like my wife mentioned before, is okay. So let's take a look at this Willie Lynch thing, right?
Go ahead.
So here it is. Black men were referenced as slaves and were made studs. Right? So variety is basically now a part of our makeup. We think we're supposed to jump from woman to woman. Right? Unconsciously. So then with that unconsciousness, it plays into our normal right? Our normal life. And we think that it's okay.
Come on, wow.
We think it's all right to have variety. We think it's okay to have what they call them side pieces.
Come on, wow. Come on.
Because
Right?
we've been made side pieces since we've been here in
Exactly.
America.
We are a side piece
Man, you teaching.
mentally.
Listen, everybody, as promised, we are going to open up the phone lines in about 10 minutes. You can get on right now and hold if you wish. You can start calling right now. If you got questions you want to ask our guest, the phone lines will be open in about just a few more minutes. 404-919-7399. You can call DJ Rockwell. We're on the line with Sister Nayyirah and Brother Dawud. You can call us to ask your question if you got them at 404-919-7399. Let's dive in to ask this question while we wait on the phone to ring. Since we're talking about married life and porn, let's pose this question. How does porn destroy marriages?
Well, you know, I should look to my wife to create with. I should not have to look outside of her to do that. Right? So I'm looking at, you know, the idea of creativity, right? Now we have this in our birthright, right? We are creators. We are just that. It's just we're choosing now to use this other mind to create. So we feel it as a need to look outside of our mates or our spouses, right? To please ourselves. When really it's just like the Honorable Louis Farrakhan calls it, deceptive intelligence, rationalizing disobedience. And it's really not necessary. Your wife has everything that you're going to see on camera.
The parts match.
I ain't gonna say that. So, anyway, let me ask something.
No, please.
I mean, but your wife is right there with you. The TV is not in truth.
Hello.
Yeah.
So I just want to say this though, this part. Then what happens now we become cheaters in the marriage. Because somebody, you know, now one person sleep, the other person up on the phone because they done been woke up in the middle of the night and want to get on the phone, or they want to go get on a computer, or they want to go out and get in their car. So now they become cheaters with the devices.
Listen.
You know, so now the husband or the wife get up and find that person on a device.
Creeping with iPhone 10.
Yeah, creeping, right? and they go get on the computer and all these sites are popping up when I'm right here in the living room. You understand? And I mean, these are people that I've counseled before.
Yes,
okay? I think a lot, and I'm blessed that I don't have that problem, but this is real for us. It's real. The computer, the porn becomes the significant others because the husband or the wife can no longer fulfill that appetite. We're dealing with urges. We're dealing with an appetite. It's just like if you was to eat macaroni and cheese or something, and that's your favorite food. It's your go-to. It becomes a comfort food.
Wow.
So now porn becomes a comfort in the marriage. It becomes like a comfort food. So now it's destructive because now the other person, the significant other, is like, but what am I not doing? Now that person start looking inwardly, thinking something wrong with them. When actuality is the significant other, whether it's male or female, that's turning to these addictive urges, is compromising their significant other.
Wow.
It's nothing wrong with the individual. They just have a huge appetite that they can no longer fulfill because it's still growing. It's the beast in them. It's lower desire. That's why it's called lower. It's not
right.
It's coming from beneath.
Brother and sister, let's look at something where it gets even more dramatic. I found a statistic as I was doing research for the show that revealed that, and you saw me show that statistic in the opening segment of the show, talking about how the vast majority, over 80% of porn users are from teenagers to early 20s. Sometimes, I saw one statistic that the average porn user discovers it at the age of 11. So we now have our children that are more than ever exposed to pornography. And here's my question. Here's where I'm going with that. What should parents tell their teenagers when they discover that their children are viewing porn? How should they have that conversation with a child?
Well, I'm just going to say this. We're taught in the Nation of Islam that we should teach from the cradle to the grave. And I truly believe, and I'm going to answer your question directly, but I truly believe that as soon as a child can get to a point of understanding, you got to have the sex talk before you find out that they have been watching porn or whatever. Educate your children, have the communication. A lot of times our children are getting into these type of behaviors because of curiosity. Somebody else has introduced it to them because we failed not to talk to them about it. So it goes back to communication in the household. Hence, now, if my child is watching porn and I find out, it goes back to communication. First and foremost, I want to know why. What do you find interesting? Of course, they're going to tell me whatever, but then I'm going to gear them and do my best to strive to teach them the right way.
Come on.
That's all we can do. We just have to continue to educate, continue to be the parents. And it's not about what you do, it's the way you respond. If we respond like this, you walk in the room and that child watching porn and you cursing that child out and you beating that child, what the hell you doing? Guess what? That child is going to go seek that more because we didn't handle it properly. So we have to be mature enough to understand that it's a conversation now we have to have as a family. Right. And educate the child. That's my view.
No, you're right. I'm just thinking about, that's absolutely correct because we have to address it from a mental perspective and not a physical perspective.
Yes, sir.
Right. We could do that, but what benefit will it gain? One of the other things too that we have to be aware of is diet. And the reason why I bring this up is because even scientifically, it's been shown and proven not just about the activation of the dopamine, but two, there's a chemical that's called delta phos B, and this delta phos B is what triggers a sensation and or a hunger, like my wife was saying earlier, a starvation almost. And what happens is it's craving for something of creativity and a high calorie type diet. So one of the statistics that I ran across, preparing for this show is that Black men are 9% more able or liable to search for adult porn on the internet.
Are you reading my notes? Did you hack my email to
No, sir. I remember that.
I swear to Almighty God Allah that the next question on my paper was going to be directly to you on that matter. I was going to say, sister, step off, close your ears. We're going to talk man talk for a minute. And since you broached the subject and provided me a great segue to this question.
Yes, sir.
men to men, brother to brother, what responsibility do we have to one another when we discover that our brother has this sort of inclination? What is our responsibility as men to say, bruh, you know what? As opposed to brother might say, man, this is my business, ain't your business. How do we mentor one another as men when we realize my brother has an addiction?
Yes, sir. Well, and thank you for the question. One thing comes to mind. We can definitely be reminders, because as the Holy Quran says, that a reminder is a blessing, and that it is for sure. However, we have to take it a little further as a brother, and we have to be able to offer solution. And the reason why I bring this up is because we have to revert back to what we talked about in the beginning, which is this tool of Dianetics and auditing, because that is what will offer solution to this unhealthy state. You see, and the Honorable Louis Farrakhan is who guided us to that, right? So it's his word and not our own. So that would be the direction that I would offer to a brother.
Now, we got a lot of people watching, but maybe they're afraid to call. So the number is on your screen, 404-919-7399. We want to get you to engage. We want to leave porn addiction in 2020. We want to leave the uncontrollable urge in 2020. We want to go forward with our God self in 2021. So we're not asking anybody to tell their business. We're just asking you. If you want to ask a question to our guest, you can call right now at 404-919-7399.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
Right.
I want to say something. We're dealing with any addiction. When you have a loved one, or somebody that you know, or somebody that you care, or even somebody you don't know, but let's just approach this from the loved one standpoint. You want to get that person some help. You approach the situation as this. It is a sickness. If somebody has cancer, you're going to take them to the hospital to see a specialist.
Come on.
If it's on drugs, on crack or whatever, you'll put them in a drug rehabilitation center.
Come on.
Right? But this is a mental illness, spiritual and mental illness.
Listen.
And I thank God when you ask why people come to me, because as my husband said, we have solution and we get results. Because it's not just give a temporary fix.
Right.
It's not just going to deal with the problem from right now that, okay, you're addicted to this now. What is the why? Something could have happened in that person's mother's womb.
Okay.
That triggered that. So now we have an effective tool, which is the modern science to mental health, that would go in, find the why, and eradicate it.
We've got a caller on the line right now. Caller, who am I speaking with?
Hey, this is Brandon. Peace, brother.
Peace, B. What's going on, Steve? Che, talk to us, man. Ask a question.
Oh, I'm good. I want to thank y'all, to thank the guests for taking time to do this and shed some light on the situation. My question is this. We're talking about addictions and appetites. And we all know there are many different types of appetites. My question is do you think there's a difference between a person who is addicted and a casual user? For instance, if you line up 100 people and say, okay, all these 100 people use alcohol, but you can probably just look and tell out of the 100 which one are really drunk. You know what I'm saying? So is there a difference between the casual and the addiction, the addicted people? And if there is, what are the dangers with being a casual user?
Good question.
Well, what one does was what one do. That's my personal thing. I'm just looking at it from the viewpoint is that we're looking outside of ourselves to something else and someone else to fulfill what we're already equipped with. We're looking outside of ourselves. We're now going into the TV. We're going into imagination. So what it says is an indicator to me. And like I said, anybody that does it, that's between you and your bedroom. Okay, no judgment. But sex is a creative force. It's using your imagination. So now we're depending on somebody else's imagination to fulfill something within us and in your relationship. That's just my opinion. That's my viewpoint. That's really scientific. When you're looking at what the movies and the different things are made to do, it's a science. It's a manipulation of the mind. We're looking at mind control. It's programming.
Right.
So I would say, for a person that casually use it or a person that is addicted to using it, you know, to me, my viewpoint is we're going outside of ourselves. We're going outside of what God created sex for when it comes to husband and wife and having a sacred, the bedroom is a sacred space, and we're inviting other energy into our bedroom.
Right.
That's my viewpoint.
Leaders, answer your question.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling.
Yes, sir.
V, I got a question from someone who wanted to remain anonymous. Didn't want to call in. So this person texted me the question, and it is the following. Would couples who are not religious and who choose not to indulge in pornography say that they have healthier sexual relationships than those who do?
Okay, what's the question?
Yeah, what's the question?
Okay, so let me hear it again, please.
Would couples who are not religious and choose not to indulge in pornography, would those people say that they have a healthier sexual relationship than people who do indulge in pornography?
Well, it goes back to, for me, just looking at it from a mental health standpoint, you're using your own creativity. You're using your own imagination. You're using your own mind. You're not bringing someone else's mind in your bedroom, which automatically makes it healthier. Because regardless of the fact, scientifically, your mind is made up of pictures. So those pictures are in your mind with your significant others. It's not your own create. You're co-creating with the porn that's on the TV. So from a mental health standpoint, when you're dealing with your mind, you're taking on other mindsets.
Listen.
Your bedroom, other mindsets, other people emotions, other people sounds, other people whatever is in your bedroom.
Right.
So it's no longer you and your partner. It's you, your partner, and the two other people that's on the devices.
Right. And you're no longer even being yourself. You're imitating to be someone else.
Think about that.
Is it actually you who's now engaged in the act? No.
Wow.
And again, it goes back to family. This is just if I had to have someone to walk away with anything, it goes back to you being your own natural self. You are a God. You are part of creation. You are a creator. Be creative in your bedroom.
Come on.
Use your godhood. Why are you depending on somebody else's godhood to fulfill you and your mate or you? It comes from a lack of knowledge. It comes from a lack of knowing God, creation. That's what all this is we're looking at programming.
Wow.
We're coming from the mindset that is not natural. And this is why we find ourselves justifying it, because it has been justified for over 400 years. So now we're talking about breaking chains.
Come on.
We're talking about breaking generational patterns, generational stories, generational traumas, which means it has to be new solutions, new results. New mind will create new realities. But if we're going to operate from that old mind, then we're going to continue to find satisfaction and fulfillment in Satan's way. Period. But again, if this is what we desire to do, then that's what we desire to do. But we're here to offer another solution.
What I would like, we're down at the end of the show. Matter of fact, it's now 8 p.m. exactly. And we typically end our show at 8. And I want to begin to go for a summary with this question. And there's so many questions that I didn't even bother to ask because it would have been repetitive because you addressed them in so many of your beautiful answers.
Can I interject before you bring us to that close of that question?
Sure.
I wanted to introduce a book that I feel serves a great purpose on this topic. Our guest mentioned that we have to tackle this from the cradle to the grave, because certainly the enemy leaves no stone unturned from the cradle to the grave and everything in between. So I wanted to introduce this book written by one of our great brothers, Hashim, titled Do Not Touch My Spots. Can you get that a good shot on that? Do not touch my spots.
Yeah, the light is kind of bright, but go ahead.
And in this book, this is a book written for children and is written in such a way that it makes it easy for the parents to introduce to the children about safety and safe touches on themselves and how to respond when touches and things are other than that. But this book is titled Do Not Touch My Spots, which can be purchased on Amazon.com. Again, Do Not Touch My Spots. And it uses the image of a ladybug with the spots. Of course, everybody knows that. And this is something that you can introduce to your children and get them comfortable and confident with protecting themselves. Go to Amazon.com. Do Not Touch My Spots. Get this and arm yourselves and arm your children and those you care about. Thank you.
Having said that, let's conclude. Again, you've been watching DJ Rockwell and my co-host and producer, Dave C. This is the Rockwell Radio Show. We're here every Saturday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Also on YouTube. You can follow and subscribe at the Rockwell Radio Show. Brother and sister, I want to thank you so much as we begin to close, but here is my summarizing question. I would like you to look into the camera and talk as if you're speaking to one person who tells you this. I'm addicted and I know it. I look at pornography daily. I look at pornography nightly. I'm ashamed and I want to stop. I'm ashamed. I'd be embarrassed if anyone found out. It's got its power over me. I'm better than this, but I'm realizing I can't do it by myself. Talk to that person.
Well, I personally would say to that person is job well done for admitting this, and know this, that something can be done about it. So because you have given your heart to say that you are addicted, then let us help you. We have the solution. Therapy works. And I would say to that person, use Dianetics. Get you some auditing, get you some therapy, and you are safe with us. That's what I would say.
Right. And just to further that, I would say, thank you for telling me.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly appreciate that, because that is the first step. So actually, you have already made progress. So now we can continue to help you get better.
With love. Love conquers all.
Come on.
Love conquers all. And that's what it's going to take. It's the love of yourself and the love of your brother and sister that's sitting before you to help you with this situation.
Tell them what they can find when they go to your website, www.repairoftheblackfamily.com.
Yes, so you'll find our services there. We offer life coaching. We offer mental health therapy. We offer products, immunity products. As you know, we don't want to take the vaccines. And we offer different classes. So go to our website, please explore. And that's what I would say.
Yeah, and then just don't forget about our herbs and and that sort of thing too, because we certainly address the body as well.
Okay, we've got one more caller that called in right under the wire. Caller, you're on the line with DJ Rockwell on the Rockwell Radio Show. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, what's up? Drake Rock Assassin. You're speaking to Daniel from St. Louis, Missouri.
Salute, salute.
How you doing?
Peace, my brother.
All right. I was just, I don't know. I had a question regarding the steps of breaking the addiction. In light of the fact that we have been socially engineered to hate ourselves, and with that, we can be easily enslaved to certain standards of beauty that aren't even cohesive to our ways of life, and how it's affected our self-esteem. And in light of the fact that we are in the age of instant gratification, and many people are seeing porn as more convenient than even being in a relationship. And of course, that is even heightened by the pandemic itself.
Fact.
What are the steps? Yeah. And this addiction is like any other. Of course, love is lacking, and usually people try to find love in their addiction. What are the steps, do you think, that would be cohesive in reversing this process in the mind? I know it starts in the mind. That's where it has to end. But what do you think? What steps do you think one should take in order to reverse this?
Great question. Thank you for your call, guest.
Yes. Well, I'm definitely going to say it's really going to take us as a culture of people, the knowledge of ourselves, the knowledge of God, the knowledge of the enemy. That's in the time of what must be done. And again, I will offer the therapy of Dianetics. That's what I will offer. Understanding why porn is fed to us. It's literally fed to us through the music, through the TV, through whatever. It's building appetites, it's mind control. So the first thing is the knowledge of it and why it's being fed to us in this time, and then help the person see that they can come out of it. So the first step I would do is to offer that person therapy, and that's through Dianetics.
Brother, do you have anything you want to offer to that answer?
Yeah, because the steps would definitely vary. However, when we're talking about addiction, right, and us offering what we have to offer, which is the tool of Dianetics, then we would go into that specifically. Any other thing would not just. It just wouldn't be a part of. It's not like we're going to give them like a 12-step program or something like that. It doesn't work that way.
And I'm sure that there's other avenues when you're talking about this type of addiction. There's many programs out there that can help one. We're just offering what we have, right, which is the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and this tool and technology called Dianetics, which is very effective. It's not a temporary fix. It will get to the root of the problem, and you can be free.
Right.
I'm not saying maybe, I'm saying you can.
Right.
So that's what I will offer. It is the modern science of mental health. I'm not just saying something that I read in a book. I went through the process.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Get these demons out of us, because that's what it is. It's demons.
Right.
Jesus saying you'll be able to cast demons out of the people. Well, that's what that's what we are doing when we use this technology. We're getting the demons out of the person's mind. That's what we have to offer. But I would tell a person, whatever avenue that you can find help with this addiction, please step foot and take one step. And that's first saying it, be truthful to yourself, and then take the next step and find the proper resources to get some help.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We cannot thank you all enough for joining us on episode 15 of the Rockwell Radio Show. Dear sister and brother, we thank Allah for you and the work that you're doing. Right. And matter of fact, we already said that 1 in 3 users of porn are women. And speaking of women, you have an event coming up in January for women. Tell us about it.
Absolutely. So January 9th, There's a virtual sanctuary, 1,000 women coming together to create 1,000 miracles, eliminating generational trauma, generational patterns, generational stories. We are detoxing spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Right. So come detox with us in the virtual sanctuary. I'm going to be the keynote speaker on there. We have different presenters, and I tell you, it is an experience. So go to www.repairtheblackfamily.com, go to shop, sign up today. The power of femininity. That's where we really create from, in that femininity.
Beautiful. Thank you all for taking of your time. Thank you all for giving of your spirit, your wisdom, and your hearts of seeing a need in our people and speaking to it. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. Dave, you got any closing comments?
I do not. I'm just most appreciative of our guests and wonderful job. And hopefully we can meet again and go even further.
Absolutely. Right. Thank you so much for having us. And I'll leave us with this. Let's heal on purpose, family. We love y'all. Thank y'all so much.
You've been tuned in to the Rockwell Radio Show. Before we go, quick announcement, New Year's party sponsored by the NOI DJs. Yours truly, hosted by Jay DeLay. Check this out.
2020's been a hell of a year, but we ain't gonna trip, cause it's damn near out the door. Now. It's time to celebrate life, manifest the destiny, and bring 2021 in with a bang. It's the worldwide New Year's Eve virtual celebration. It's a worldwide New Year's Eve virtual celebration like never before. Manifest the Destiny 2021. Here comes the change you've been looking for. Live Thursday, December 31st, New Year's Eve.
It's going all the way down, y'all.
The world will celebrate with 5 iconic DJs. DJ Rockwell, Brother John, Mighty DJ CJ, DJ Crystal Flex, and DJ Afu. Plus your host for the night, Jay DeLay. It's the worldwide New Year's Eve virtual celebration. People all over are asking, well, what about LA? Oh, for sure. New York? Oh yeah, Shine. What about Africa? We got the entire continent. I'm telling you, we got it on lock from Brazil to Budapest and from Trinidad to Thailand.
We worldwide, baby.
We're bringing a virtual party for the entire globe to celebrate, and it's all free. Ain't gonna cost you a dime.
Everybody like that F word. That's free, baby.
But you gotta register today. Just go to eventbrite.com and search Manifest the Destiny. You and the entire family are invited, so be a part of history. We letting go of 2020, and we're celebrating life in 2021. The NOI DJs, we're changing the world.
It's our Genesis now.
You can register today. The link is in the comment section. The link is in the comment section. And that is episode 15. May you all have a blessed new year. We hope you join us and celebrate with us. Family, from the bottom of my heart, we thank you all for joining us. And hopefully we can do a part 2 if it's okay with you all.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. God bless.
You're tuning to the Rockwell Radio Show. Thank y'all. See y'all next week. We out of here. Peace.
Rockwell Radio.
I'm listening to DJ Rockwell. Holla!